sports. It's in the game.
There's barely room for Sainz to get past.
Here we are again then at Le Castellet for another round of this year's Formula One World Championship. Renault took their first French Grand Prix win all the way back in the inaugural race in 1906, but it was another 73 years before they could take their second. I'm sure Alpine will be pushing hard to delight the local fans here today. 6 lefts and 9 rights give us a total of 15 corners here at the Circuit Paul Ricard, and a lap covers an overall distance of 3.6 miles. Average speeds will be somewhere in the region of 142 miles per hour, and they'll be maxing out on the Mistral Straight at around 205 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Alexander lines up on pole position. And starting next to them is George Russell. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Verstappen, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Norris, Sainz, Perez, Ocon, and Valtteri Bottas, Ricciardo, Gasly, Mick Schumacher, and Vettel, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Nicholas Latifi, and Alex Albon, Stroll, and Guan Yu Zhou. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's talk about Alexander. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
It's been a really solid year so far. There have been some incredible standout performances. But what's really impressed me has been the consistency. With this kind of form, I'm expecting another good race today.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going. Fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done.
witnessed some great battles around Paul Ricard today, and they've taken a fantastic win. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Alexander increases their championship lead. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Alexander. They did a great job at getting the very most out of the tyres without losing pace. Something that's a very handy skill to have in modern Formula One.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Another team that excelled today were Williams, who make further progress up the table. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.